it is officially here. The Love is Blind reunion has come out on Netflix. So hope you've watched it. Hope you've seen it. If you haven't, jump over to Netflix, hit pause on this video, jump over to Netflix, take like the hour and a half, finish it up, and then jump back and get into the entertainment episode. So gonna do a rundown, kind of a recap on the episode, just kind of how everything went. Some of the highlights, some of the lowlights, definitely a lot of drama. It doesn't even stop most of the time. Right off the bat, there's drama. They did bring in some contestants, or not contestants, some participants from previous seasons. So couples that actually stay together, some other people that just kind of like participated in the show. Of course, they did that usual announcement. I think some of them are going to be in, I forgot what the other perfect match. I think a couple of them are going to be in there. But definitely made it a lot more interesting where they're kind of referring to old participants, asking them their opinion on current participants. And it was kind of funny. Before I even get into it, just kind of while that's on topic, if you noticed the show, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but it seemed like they just kept referring to like, this is real, you know, can you guys talk about how this show's been for you guys? So I think they really wanted to harp on the show's supposed to be authentic. They wanted to be for love. They want everybody to know that this is real. Because, you know, there's all that drama that I'm going to get into right now about people that came on the show. Do they come for right reasons? Are they just trying to get famous? What are they doing? So it seemed like Nick and Vanessa just kind of kept talking about like, hey, you know, this is really about love, and trying to really bag down on those people that they think weren't doing it for the right reasons, which was definitely interesting. I got this USA Today article open that has a pretty decent timeline. Shout out to the writer. Let's see who it was real quick. Kimmy Robinson. Interesting way to spell it, but shout out to Kimmy Robinson for the article. Going to reference it just because it kind of has a decent timeline, but I got my own notes down here. So when you see me looking down, it's because I'm staring at the iPad, and hopefully not staring, glancing at the iPad. So before we get to the drama, nobody surprised. Amy, Johnny, still together. Shout out to Johnny. Nothing really dramatic about them. They did have a funny ass picture of them like in a JC Penney photo shoot, which I was laughing at hard as hell. I'll see if I can find that. But definitely nice little couple. They're still happy. They're together. They're traveling, doing their thing. So shout out to them. Nothing spectacular that dropped out of that. They did confirm that, yes, condoms were an option. He didn't get a vasectomy. She's still not on birth control. He also admitted he didn't know anything about birth control, which is even more crazy because what was he talking about and what has he been doing? I guess he's either shooting blanks or just shoot, and he's hoping for the best. Who knows, Johnny? But shout out to Johnny and Amy. They're still together, still doing their thing, but you know, shout out to them, you know, happy they're still together, Johnny. And then after that, they talked about somebody from one of the old seasons, but who cares about that? Not too interested in the other season. But man, they spent a good amount, spoiler alert, like 20 minutes just ripping in on Sarah Ann. So, I mean, I don't even know what words to put together for describe what they were talking about, but off the rip, just everybody, they're asking for other people's opinions, which is crazy. Like Nick's like, so what do you guys think about what happened between Laura, Sarah Ann, and Jeremy? So everybody's just pretty much giving in their 2 cents. Laura keeps calling Jeremy a clown. She called him a clown probably 5 times. Go back, watch the episode again, take a drink every time she calls him a clown. You get a nice buzz going. And then Sarah Ann, she talked about it a little bit. She said, her and Jeremy definitely, they're just attention seekers. Let's put it that way. They both kind of come off really wrong. I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt originally, like, hey, you know, people meet on the show. Everybody's kind of met within the last couple of weeks. I could see how you know, break up with someone and maybe they think it's something more than it was. Even though you're engaged and all that, you know, it's still a show. But, you know, the more that they revealed about themselves, the more they just kind of look a little stupid and a little definitely narcissistic or not thought through. They thought they could kind of like smile and present themselves through all the hard questions. But Sarah Ann basically said, you know, I DM'd Jeremy just to kind of like get it off my chest. And I knew you guys weren't married yet. And yeah, I did want to tell him if things didn't work out to hit me back. and all that. So it was kind of weird while she's like just giving all this up and then trying to like be nice with her, get like advice from the girl that your current guy just broke up with. And this was like in a flashback, so not at the reunion, but super weird. Didn't make any sense. And then, you know, they instantly start getting Laura's reaction. Laura's just going in. She's in Barcelona. Here we go. We got a picture of Laura in the Selena dress. Shout out to Selena. She got the Selena dress going, responding. You know, she just starts going in right away. First, she called him a clown 70 times. Then she talks about how fake he was, that in the pods, he wasn't even the same person, than the way that he was acting once they got out. And then talks about, you know, pretty much a story where Jeremy threw Jimmy under the bus, saying, you know, hey, you're trying to make me look worse than Jimmy does. So it was pretty wild that he was just pretty much going in the whole time. And then Jimmy even came out and said that when they were on one of the islands together with the couples, that Jeremy had said, here, I got it written down here, that, well, Jimmy said that Jeremy said about him, hey, at least I can sleep tonight knowing that Jimmy looks like the villain. So, you know, when some of those little things start to come out, I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, yeah, this guy definitely worried about what he looked like. And then I started thinking too, I'm like, man, I don't believe him that his house was that clean. If you go back to that episode, creepy that his house was like spotless clean. And he kept saying, yeah, it's always was clean. Then I started thinking, I don't believe him about that. So it was weird. You know, Jimmy was talking to about Jeremy, like, hey, clearly, you know, you got me on your mind. You're worried about me during your relationships. Like, your head's not in the right place. And I don't think Jimmy's all innocent either. He tries to play that whole little role and all that stuff, but he's definitely not all like an innocent guy. But it was a little bit weird noticing how like everybody just ganged up on Sarah Ann. It was like a all on Super Smash Bros. Melee. Jessica came out of the left side. Then you got Chelsea coming out. Then you got AD dropping in some comments. You had everybody all out assault Sarah Ann. Not sure what to do. Jeremy in the Hawaiian shirt looking lost. He was just looking completely defeated. So, you know, it wasn't a good look for them. And then even worse after that, pretty much go on and Chelsea says, well, every time that I see Jeremy, he says you guys are broken up. So that dropped the whole ooh through the crowd. And then Jeremy's like, well, I've only seen you like one time. She says 2 times. And, you know, he then goes into we've had our problems. And, you know, they had all these like political answers ready to rock and roll. So people were just ripping in on them. Even the host asked like, hey, I guess Sarah had posted something about one of the being like at Jeremy's house. So pretty much from there, people already knew that they were kind of together. So it just seems like I said, they just really want like, you know, attention, entertainment. She dropped some Instagram video about that. So obviously they love being on the show. They love the attention. And, you know, they provided the drama. They are like 40% of the reunion. It was worth it. A lot of good stuff, a little bit bogus, but it's TV. And even though Nick and Vanessa Lachey want to keep saying it's about love, it's not about entertainment, we know what we're here for, guys. This is Love is Blind. This is Netflix. We're not all at the local community center doing a blind dating or speed dating. It's television, baby. Hollywood. So after that, it honestly got better. Shockingly. After the whole Sarah Ann just bomb that went off during the reunion, back to back, somebody just throws in the next flash grenade. They bring out Trevor, who we all know, everybody watches the show. Trevor's like huge, big guy, jacked. Walks in, shoulders like hunched over like that. Just looking like he literally waddled in, did like this really weird walk. Looked like he was a kid that transferred into school for the first day and didn't know anybody there. Just walked in very, very casual. So he walks in. Oh, they got a picture of him right here. Let's see. This is how he sat down the whole time. Just sat there, literally lost for words. They asked them pretty much, you know, right off the bat. They had the text messages up that everybody's been seeing online. If not, Google it real quick. I'm not going to go through all of them because I'm sure everybody's seen them already. But the text messages of him and the girl that he was talking to or dating right before the show, and then right after the show when he got off telling her he loves her, he's going to be with her. So they asked him, and he literally sat there for 20 to 30 seconds just saying nothing. And here's real quick on Twitter, actually hilarious. Everybody is ripping in. Let's see the good ones right here. This was him right here. This is Trevor. Wait. We got the Sopranos one. Literally, Nick and Vanessa Lachey to Trevor when he came into the Love is Blind reunion. We need some sound. Shout out to the Sopranos. Just unloaded on Trevor the entire time, y'all. It was crazy. Make sure you go look at that part right now. But Trevor even, they start asking him everything. How do you feel? How do you explain yourself? Basically trying to save the show because everybody now thinks it's for clout. So Trevor basically had nothing to say, couldn't respond. Finally, when he does talk, he basically just admits, yeah, I'm toxic. I do need to get help. I need to do this. I need to do that. Then you start to realize this show was like recorded almost like a year ago or something. So then you start thinking like, buddy, what are you waiting for then? If you're going to put this act on the show, then you're just going to talk about it now. So he admits he's toxic. Then he just asks, am I allowed to leave? Can I walk away now? And they ask another question. He sticks in for a second, and then they give him the option. Well, do you want to leave or walk away? And he just says, yeah. Gets up, puts his hands back in his pockets, hunches his shoulders back over, and just does the waddle. Does the Trevor waddle right back out. We'll see what happens to him. I'm not going to say he's a bad guy, but just super embarrassing the way that everything went down for him. We'll see if he improves. Says he's not looking to get famous, but I think he wants to get on another show, and I'm sure we'll see. We'll see him come out somewhere. So after that, they kind of transition into AD and Clay. So they ask him, what happened with you guys? You guys talk or what? So, they say basically they didn't talk for a few weeks. Nothing happened. Clay tried reaching out to her via text. Then he called her. She had to make sure everybody knew he called her. We know how that goes. He did admit, that after kind of like watching the show and seeing how everything went down behind the scenes, that he did feel very sad and disrespectful. And, he saw how excited she was. And after he said no, he felt like, he really wasted her time, her family's, which of course it's nice for him to admit that. But what was he thinking before then? Was he thinking that she was sitting in the other room just as nervous as he was? Who knows? He did like at least admit the mistake that he said no. He wishes that he did say that he loves her, that AD is the love of his life. So pretty much he's all in. He also confirmed 1,000% that he would date her again. So, she said he had his chance, that it is what it is, all that. Then he was going on his little soliloquy about his journey and, fixing everything. And, I understand definitely what he's talking about, not letting your parents' story shape your own story with your life, with your significant other. You can't really hold that against your parents. So if you're not going to hold it against them, definitely don't hold it against yourself. And you could tell he was really in his head about that whole scenario. We'll see what happens between them in terms of them being together. I saw it. We all saw it. I'm sure she was touching his leg a little bit, giving that little rub, giving him the sign. So who knows what happened, but it was good to see, they're kind of still cool with each other. He's growing, doing that thing, realizing it. So we'll see how that plays out. But there was a little bit of drama because they did bring up Matthew. And this happens a little bit later, but they did bring up Matthew, and AD did confirm that she did go on 2 dates with him. First date, who knows what happened. Second date, she said he cooked for her. So let's put 2 and 2 together. She probably slid over to his place. Who knows what happened. She said after the second time that it didn't work out. So that it didn't work out because of the cooking, or was it because of the dessert? If you know what I'm saying. So who knows, but Clay says he knew. He was a little bit looking shook. He played it off. Clay always has the political answers. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Clay running for governor, for city councilman, for something out there. Every response he gave, I was like, man, you can tell this guy's a businessman because he's trying to make sure he gives all the right marketing answers. He's got the right PR team. But definitely was very surprising to see that AD went out with Matthew a couple of times. They must have connected in the DMs. They do say best to go down in the DM. But I was surprised. They also did a little contemplation on AD, and I forgot who the other girl that Matthew talked to, but whoever she was, about he said the same things to them. So even after that, after she knew that he said the same shit, she still went on a date with them guys. So just remember, it's not you, buddy. It's not you. Matthew's still getting chosen out there. If Matthew can get chosen, so can you. Watch the show, man. If he can get picked, you can do it too, guys. Believe in yourself. But that was funny. I had that had me wrong a little bit. We'll go. The rest was kind of, just regular stuff. I'm not going to spend too much time. The real juicy was everything in the beginning. Right now, shout out to Chelsea. She took the Megan Fox stuff like a champ. I thought they were about to roast her, but she just kind of went with it, said that she's been laughing, not trying to take it to chin or take it to the chin, not trying to take it to the chin. Sorry. No pun intended. They talked about Kenneth being on his phone. He talked about being committed to his job and all that stuff. The principal, shout out to him. It was kind of weird because they did say that they still talk all the time. I think they got that on the article, but yeah, Kenneth and Brittany, they have a bond that'll last for eternity, but it's not romantic. They text and do all that stuff every day, but that they don't actually want to be together. So that was kind of weird. And, it really just came down to the drama for this episode, guys. Make sure you tune in. The beginning, all they do is go in on pretty much everybody. Sarah Ann, everybody gets a chance. It's like a piñata. They're like, come on, who's got something? Throw it at her. Throw it at her. Then they bring Trevor out. Trevor freezes out there, shook, no movement, nothing to do. Then the Clay and AD, actually pretty sentimental, nice touching story until the Matthew bomb gets dropped. I don't know how I would feel if, somebody that you were with goes out with a serial killer. Not for me. Then the Kenneth and Brittany, who knows what's going on. They have a bond forever, yada, yada, yada. Jimmy and Chelsea. Jimmy, not even worth talking about. Still the same thing that happened last time. He still heard about his secret that got out. Who knows about that one? But tune in, y'all. The reunion was popping. Watch some of that season if you haven't already. Like the video, subscribe, comment. Let me know, who do you think was the funniest or most entertaining couple out of this season? For me, I'm personally going to have to go with Clay and AD. Clay just always had all the sayings. Every time you could tell he learned from his dad. He had, like I said, political aspirations for Clay. Maybe one day we'll see him running for president. Who knows? And just the way that he ended it at the end of the show, we're going to end it today. I don't have a shot glass. I got my Yeti. But Clay, shout out to you like you said it. I'm not above you. I'm not below you. I'm right here with you. Shout out to y'all. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know who was the most entertaining couple to you this season. Deuces.